Good morning, student. Welcome to the second lecture of mobile application development. In our last session, we started with the overview of Android operating system. In that, we have seen what is Android, what are the features of Android, components of Android operating system, then number of mobile phones that are supporting Android and also tablets. All these things we have seen in our last lecture. So in today's lecture, let's talk about the Android architecture. So in Android architecture, at the base, there is a Linux kernel. As we know that it is a Linux based operating system. So here in a Linux kernel, some basic functionalities like what kind of basic functionalities it provide, like power management, inter-process communication, then some audio drivers, Wi-Fi connectivity, Wi-Fi drivers, keypad drivers, display drivers, camera, flash memory, binder and so on. So these all drivers are available at the Linux kernel level. Okay. Now next thing is it provides variety of libraries. So what type of libraries it can support? That are the WebKit, SQLite for database, media framework, then Surface Manager. Whatever touch screens you are going to use are supported by the Surface Manager. Then OpenGL for display, SSL and SGL, that is for the connectivity. Okay, so all these particular libraries are supported with that Android runtime. Okay, so this is a wonderful thing we are going to learn in a detail. Now this Android runtime is working, but right now it also provides library code support, that is Dalvik. Dalvik Virtual Machine. It is also called as DVM. Okay, it is also called as DVM. As there is a JVM, that is Java Virtual Machine in Java. Here in Android, we have DVM, that is Dalvik Virtual Machine. At the top of this, there is a application framework. And these application frameworks, here we have Activity Manager. Okay, in this application framework, we have Activity Manager. So as I told you that whenever you open the phone, the first activity is there is a button that you click, then another activity will be open. So these are your two activities that are supported by these libraries. Okay, so activity managers are there, window managers are there, content provider, view system, then location manager for whatever files you have stored, location manager for GPS services, and next important is notification manager. So whatever notifications you are getting, like low battery and all, so all these things are carried out by this notification manager. And at the top of that, we have the applications. Okay, at the top of that, we have the applications. So when you open your phone, you will find your home screen, then your contacts, phone, browser and camera. Okay, so all these applications running based on this particular Android architecture. Next thing is framework for Android development. So here are some Android based application framework. So you can see that native script, Corona SDK, Corona is a framework, PhoneGap, Ionic, Xamarin, accelerators. So with the use of these, you can create Android applications. Okay, next, here are some other frameworks which are again useful for the Android development, like Kotlin, Xamarin, Ionic, and like that. So right now in the market and day by day, lots of frameworks are coming up as per the requirements. So there are lots more tools we have to develop the particular Android application. Now let's talk about the particular architecture of Android in a detail. First, we talk about the Linux kernel. So what is it? So the Linux kernel is the bottommost and important layer of the Android architecture, and it is the core part of Android architecture. So as I told you that all the core functionalities, whatever are there, are resides within the Linux kernel. Okay. After that, it provides features such as security, process management, memory management, device management, and multitasking. So it is not only limited to this, but it also responsible for level of abstraction. I hope you all know about the abstraction. So it is responsible for the level of abstraction between device hardware and upper layers of Android architecture. Okay, so it consists of device drivers like camera, flash memory, display, keypad, Wi-Fi, etc. So all these primary utility drivers resides within the Linux kernel. Okay. After that, some libraries we have. So what is the meaning of libraries? So at the top of the Linux kernel, we have some libraries. Okay, we have seen in the architecture design. At the top of the Linux kernel, we have some libraries. So this layer consists of set of libraries and Android runtime. Okay, that also we have seen in the architecture design. Now, the Android component is built using native cores and required native libraries. Now, what is meant by native cores? Cores which are specific to the operating system, or we can say that the applications which are by default come up with the mobile phones are called as native applications and native cores. Okay. Now the Android component is built using native code and required native libraries, which are written in C or C++, and most of the libraries are open source libraries. Okay, like OpenGL. So that kind of libraries, some of the libraries are open source libraries. Okay, then also this layer handles data that is specific to the hardware. Suppose Surface Manager is there. Okay, we have seen that in library Surface Manager is there. So that your device touchscreen and all that. Surface Manager supports your device touchscreen. After that, some of the native libraries are SSL, SQLite, libc, OpenGL, Media Framework, FreeType, and Surface Manager. So whatever we have seen in our architecture design, these all contains in this library. After that, Android runtime. Okay. Now next component of Android architecture is Android runtime. It comprises of DVM, that is Dalvik Virtual Machine. Okay, we have seen that DVM is a Dalvik Virtual Machine. Now, just like Java uses JVM, that is Java Virtual Machine, Android uses DVM, Dalvik Virtual Machine, to optimize battery life, memory, and performance. Okay, so in Android, we are going to use DVM for this. After that, the bytecode generated by the Java compiler has to be converted to .dex file by DVM, as it has its own bytecode. So in here, in Java, we have .class file. Okay, in Java, we have .class file. And here we have .dex file. So it is the bytecode file, and that is read by the DVM, that is Dalvik Virtual Machine. And also multiple class files are created as one .dex files, and the compressed .jar file is greater than the uncompressed .dex file. It means that, so in Java language we have seen that JDK, that is Java Development Toolkit. Okay, and in that we have seen the basic functionalities of the programming and all that stuff. But if you go for the advanced Java, then you can go for the .jar file. Now jar file is nothing but the compile class file of all the files. So keep remember that Java uses .class file and Android uses .dex file, which can be read by the DVM, that is Dalvik Virtual Machine, and .class file is read by the JVM, that is Java Virtual Machine. Now next component of Android architecture is application framework. Now apart from that, the upper layer is the application framework layer. Okay, we have seen in the architecture design. At the upper layer, there is a application framework layer. So the application framework built on the top of the native library layer provides us with the application programming interface and higher level services. Now, the features of Android operating systems are available to us through the API, that is Application Programming Interface, written in the form of Java classes. So whatever the programming we are going to perform, we are performing it on Java language only. Okay. And Android developers use these high-level services to build applications. So in our architecture, we have seen that Android developers use these high-level services to build their applications. Now, it also consists of an Android hardware abstraction layer that allows the Android application framework to communicate with hardware-specific device drivers. So suppose there is a camera, there is a GPS, there is a Wi-Fi. So these are the particular hardware-specific devices, okay, that allows Android application framework to communicate. After that, it acts as an interface for hardware vendors to implement an Android application, uses hardware abstraction layer APIs to get command from different hardware devices. It means that, for example, suppose if you are using another hardware and if you want to connect that, for example, right now you are using your OTG and all that with the and with the use of that you can connect your mobile phones and you can access the pen drive. Okay, you can access the pen drive within it. So it is also again provides interface between different vendors to implement an Android application. Okay, so we can say that it provides interface between the pen drive and a mobile device by using your OTG, that means by using another hardware device. Now next is, now here I have one more picture. It provides application framework services like activity manager, content provider, resource manager, view system, and notification manager. We have seen all these frameworks in the application framework layer at the top of Android architecture design. Okay, so this is just we have seen in our architecture design. Now application framework. Now in this, what is the function of each and everything is at the top, that the application consists the following key services. Okay, so application framework consists following key services and application. The first framework or the first key service provided by application framework is the activity manager. So the method in this class uses testing and debugging methods. Now what is the function of activity manager? Debugging and testing. Then next one is content provider. It provides data from application to other layers. Now we have seen that in the architecture there is a layer concept. Okay, and different layer has its own functionalities. So content provider job is to provide the data from one layer to another layer. Okay, and all that. It means that it provides data from application to other layers. Now next one is resource manager. So it provides access to non-code resources. It means that suppose some resources are there based on hardware and all that. So that also supports through the resource manager key services. Now next is notification manager. The user gets notification about all the actions happening in the background. Suppose whenever you are using your phone and in the background your battery level is only 10%, then it will give you the notification that your phone is running out of battery or you have low battery. Okay, so this is the function of notification manager in the application framework layer. Now next is view system. It acts as a base class for widgets and it's also responsible for event handling. So here widgets are our buttons, checkboxes, radio buttons and all that. So whenever button is clicked and whatever you want to perform, it can happen. So specifically one complete unit is there, unit number 4 for the view system and view groups. So we will see in a detail at that unit. And the next is the application layer, the topmost and the last layer of application framework or Android architecture design. Now it is the topmost layer of Android architecture. This layer consists of native Android applications and third-party installed apps. Okay. Now I have told you that what is meant by native codes and native applications. Applications that are specific to the operating systems are native applications, and third-party app means that you can install from the Google Play Store. So these applications, they are the bundled in an Android package, and all the applications that are to be installed are written in this layer, only such as contacts, games, settings, and messages. Okay, so these applications are inbuilt application, and these are known as the native applications. And FB, Instagram, WhatsApp, these applications that you downloaded from the Play Store are known as the third-party application. Now next, so we have seen Android architecture. So let's talk about some programming languages used for the Android application development. So here I have listed some of the programming languages like Java, Kotlin, C Sharp, Python, C++, Corona. Corona is a 2D framework that uses the language that is Lua. And next one is the basic. Okay, but most popular language which are used for the Android is Java and Kotlin. Okay, you can also put Python and you can run that code. Okay, so I hope you all are understand the concept of Android architecture design. Okay, so have a nice day and thank you.